Hi, welcome to Canva. This is going to be a little lecture introducing you to the fundamentals of it. I'm going to try to keep this under 15 minutes. It might go a little bit longer. Canva is a tool that we use to do graphic design. Graphic design meaning it's a tool that we use to make things like Facebook ads and Instagram posts and things like that, which is what you will be using it for. It is a free tool. You just go to canva.com and you use the online thing. There is an app, and you can even do it on the go on mobile. I recommend using a computer to do this kind of work when you can. Specifically, we are going to focus on the template section. So if you look over here, there's templates. And there's a bunch of different options for templates. We'll start with something basic. We'll make a Facebook post. So why do I need a template? Why do I need a Facebook post, even if I start with a blank one? Why do I need to specifically select that? It's because every single one of these is going to have its own dimensions. Facebook says, oh, if you're going to put a post here, it has to be this size. And there's some other requirements about things. And Canva does all that work for us, so we don't even have to think about it. Now that we have the basic layout, so I've got a page. If I want, I can add more pages. And then I can download all of them together. It's just a good way of keeping your file organized. Before we begin designing anything, I want to introduce you to the Canva layout. So the way the Canva layout works is we've got this side window. This side window's got a bunch of things. And we'll go through each of them. Designs. This is either style or templates. Templates are going to be basic, are going to be a bunch of different options, and they're going to let us start from somewhere. So, hey, we're open today. This is a template that Canva offers us. Now, templates are going to use different elements, and we'll talk a little bit more about elements in a moment. Continuing down, we've got elements specifically. So elements are going to be anything that goes into a design that's not text. So there's text as a separate thing, and technically text is its own element, but an element just means a thing on the page. So in this case, I've got this background design, I've got this text, which means right now I've got three elements on this design. You'll notice here that there's some weird watermark stuff, right? This weird little pattern on the background, and I'll talk about that in a moment. There's the brand option. The brand section is a whole other feature in Canva that we're not really going to discuss right now. There's also upload. Upload is a way for you to upload your own images. So if you have your own background that you want to include, you can just upload it from here. You can either drag and drop it, or you can link it to a different account. We can also draw. So when we draw, what we do is we pick a like the pen or the pencil. We can change the thickness. We can change the color to any color we want. So let's say we're going to take this green. All right, great. And notice here how it's using hex, which is, we spoke a little bit about hex last time we were looking at colors, and all over the internet, when you look at colors, one of the most common ways you're going to see it is represented as hex. We can pick one of the solid colors that they've already, the default ones that they have. So I set my marker to that, and now I'm going to click on my marker, and notice the little tip is up, so I'm going to start drawing. And I'm just drawing, and I scribble all over the place. Now I want you to notice something. As I scribble, you see the line everywhere, right? The moment I let go, all of the line that's not on the page is hidden. I'm going to click on the marker again to put it away, or I could, if it's up, I can click on my mouse and all of a sudden I get my mouse. And now I've got this design, this little scribble that I did. So this scribble is a element. It is its own thing because I held my mouse down, and until I let go, it was one scribble. Now I don't want the scribble up front, I want the scribble to be behind my text. So how do I do that? What I do is I can click these little, once the scribble selected, I click these little three dots, and I select layer, and I can go send to back, or I can send backwards. So we'll send backwards once, so you notice how this text is now on top of it. And if I layer and I show layers, I can see all of my layers. I see that there's the image in the back, there's this text, so I'm going to move this up that. There's overlapping, and then there's just all of them, right? And I can arrange them any way I want. I can move them, or arrange allows me to move them around, or I can arrange them. Canva is a tool that will change the things available to us based on what we want. So I'm going to shrink this little scribble, and we're going to talk a little bit about why there's so bottom right over here, I can zoom out. I can grab that part of my scribble and that part of my scribble. So it doesn't look particularly good, but it's there, it's something. More importantly is we're going to talk a little bit about this background, right? Because you notice this background has what's called a watermark. What's a watermark? A watermark is a way that companies protect their copyright. One thing they'll do is hey, look, you can preview this, but if you actually want to use it, you got to pay. Notice here how Canva's got a bunch of these little things. It's a pro with a little on the left hand side where my mouse is. You'll see there's this little crown with a pro on it. That is Canva saying, hey, you have to have Canva Pro in order to be able to get full access to this. We have to make sure that we have permission to use this, otherwise we end up in trouble. So in this case, Canva says, hey, you can use the design, but that background image, if I want to remove the watermark, I have to pay, right? Or you get access to some designs for free, but you end up having to pay. So let's say I take a different one. This one is kind of similar, not exactly what I was going for, but it does not have the watermark that this one did. So as I go through, I can select a bunch of different possible designs. So you notice some of these designs are pretty complex. They've got a bunch of different elements in them. And you're going to learn, I believe you have a different course. Those of you studying marketing and graphic design are going to have courses that focus a lot more on graphic design and go into detail. And I'm not really going to judge you too much on graphic design. I'm more about introducing you to the tools. So you'll notice, if I select a specific element, the related tools show up here. So I can edit that image, right? I can change the transparency. So if I want to make this less transparent or more transparent, right now I'm selecting this little half circle that's in the corner so it looks like a quarter circle. We can change how we can give it a border, right? So if I say, hey, I want to give it a little dotted border, but notice how the border is going around as a square. So we're probably not going to do that. We're just going to leave it as is. And we'll put it back where it was. We're going to change the text though, so I'm going to select this text and say class is open. Leave the sorry there. And we'll change the text on the bottom to don't forget your pillow. Now, this is kind of funny, and I want to fit all of this here, but notice how it's not a single line anymore. So if I expand this, I can make it a line again, and if I click this, I can move it around a little bit to fit it in the middle. Right? Notice how Canva has all these nice little lines show up that are like, oh, hey, I see you're trying to do that. And it tells me exactly what's going on. And then I can expand this a little bit. So it's a little wider, but it fits. We're just going to delete this. And we'll leave the rest. And I'll delete these as well because they feel like they stand out now. So I've taken something that was just a standard template and I've turned it into something that's my own. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process of saving it. So we do share, collaboration. If we want to share just the link, so if you work on tools in a group, you can always share it with anyone, or you can download specifically. We can download it. So there's a couple of different formats here. SVG is paid, right? That little crown symbol means you have to pay. But if I want to do PDF, I can download as a PDF. If I want to download as a JPEG, I can do that. We'll leave it as a PNG for now. I can just leave the size as is. I can't really do anything fancy with it. I'm just going to download the image. It's downloading, and now if I click over here, I open it, this is the image on my computer at home, and I can just, share that with whomever I want and upload that to Facebook or anywhere else. Now, this is Canva. Canva is a good tool to use, and this is just a basic tool that we're going to use for graphic design. So if I ask you to create a basic ad, what I'd want you to do is I'd want you to create a Canva account. So canva.com. I'd want you to go to home. If I said hey, I need you to create an ad, one for Instagram and one for Facebook. So you'd go into templates, you'd go to social media, you'd do an Instagram post. You'd find a design you like, and you'd add a basic ad for that. And then we would do a Facebook post or Facebook ad, and you would find one you really like for that as well. That's it. I would want you to customize it, and I will give you more specifications, but those are the basics of the tools using it. And those ideas, the idea that there's layers, and the idea that we just everything is its own element and we arrange them in any way we want, is the fundamental of Facebook, is a fundamental of graphic design, and something to just keep in mind with any program you use. Those fundamental things of different elements, and different elements sitting on different layers. Canva does it that every element is on its own layer. More elaborate programs like Photoshop and Illustrator and things like that will have multiple layers that you can put multiple things on. That's all there is to it. That's Canva in a nutshell. And yeah, please take your time, review this, go to Canva, mess around, create a little design for yourself, and have fun.